And with that, we're going to kick off tonight's episode. Wow. What a day for Chiva Hermanos. Ended with a bang thanks to the debut of Indra, 17-year-old from Guadalajara. And boy, what a celebration for Chiva Hermanos. A much, much needed victory over Necaxa. What makes this one very sweet, of course, is our ex-coaching Necaxa, Fernando Gago, stole some AC units on his way out of Chivas, left us in the middle of the season to coach Boca, and then got discarded for the bum that he is. Of course, in Liga MX, the most recyclable of coaches, he ends up getting an opportunity at Necaxa. And on his return to El Acron, we sent him packing with a 3-1 defeat, although it was not easy, a tale of two halves. And that's where we're going to kick off tonight. Of course, before we get started, just a reminder, we're on Twitter Spaces for all of our listeners to join in on the conversation. If you got something to say, request to speak, and we'll patch you in. If you're a little bit shyer, we're on YouTube as well, and you can send your comments in the chat. And of course, check us out on cantinamx.com. Let's bring on Joel, my good friend and co-host. Joel, how we doing tonight? Joel is connecting. While he gets his mic in order, Chivas off to a great start against Necaxa. And honestly, off of a very, very terrible defeat against Toluca over the weekend, 3-0. But they bounced back tonight, 3-1 against Necaxa. Armando Hormiga Gonzalez kicked things off in the 33rd minute. He didn't do it alone. A hockey assist from Romo. Romo had an incredible pass. I want to say it was at least 50 yards to Richie Ledesma, who gave the assist to Hormiga, made it 1-0 in the 33rd minute. And a fun fact so far in the season, when Hormiga scores, we have not lost the game. We're going to try and get Rifado to join in as well. Not sure what's going on with the audio, but I'll keep pushing until I get my panel going here. Seems like they're having trouble connecting. Let me know if you guys can hear me. I'm going to keep pushing. Looks like there was an error adding my guest. Not sure what's going on. Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? Hello, hello. Not sure what's going on, guys. Yo, yo, yo. All right, we had some technical difficulties. Hopefully, everybody can hear me now. We had a great match against Necaxa 3-1 victory. We're going to be talking all about that tonight. And of course, the results over the weekend, which actually were not favorable for Guadalajara. And there's still matches going on right now. Juarez already having wasted no time, up 1-0 against Pumas. And the Leon Mazatlan game is 0-0. Juarez game is 19 minutes in. Leon Mazatlan 13 minutes in. We'll be updating you guys religiously on tonight's episode. We had earlier tonight a Puebla Pachuca tied 2-2. And at one point, Puebla flipped the script on Pachuca. Chivas getting that victory against Necaxa. Let me see if Joel can join us this time. We're going to try this again. Joel, can you hear us?
Yes, I could hear you now. Much better.
Joel, what an end to the game tonight, especially by the debut of Indra scoring the banger to secure the 3-1 victory against Necaxa and Fernando Gago.
No, 17 years old. He's already with under 17, I believe. But it's sort of like it's good to see that, because we had Chicharo in the game against Tigres, and he had an opportunity to. I thought he had an opportunity to get his mojo back, and he missed a sitter pretty much. I'm still having a difficult time trying to understand what he did, but he missed in spectacular fashion, and then he's supposedly injured. I don't buy it. That's just my personal take.
I don't buy it either.
I think he's injured.
I think it's just shame.
It should be, bro. And I was looking at this Necaxa game the first half, and I was like, this would have been a perfect game for him. He could have had at least one more, and what would have that done to his confidence? And if he's watching from home and he's watching that kid, just what a banger he scored from outside the box. I think at this point, and I'm really against this. I was even against it when Jimenez was in the wheelchair, in leg, half blind, and I'm still against calling him to retire. But for me, I think it's over for Chicha. I've been saying it for a while, but it's like I don't know what he needs to do. His talent, he's obviously very talented, but his mind doesn't seem to be there anymore. But now it's time for these kids to shine. I think because if I'm Milito, I'm putting Chicha back in, man. You got your chance. I'm sorry, bro. Stay injured. I'm putting this kid in. Hormiga, who scored another. He had an excellent goal. All three goals were nice. And you're seeing that as canteranos, which is good to see.
Absolutely. Hopefully, my boy Rifado didn't have a heart attack tonight. Probably overwhelmed by the amount of youngins on the pitch tonight. Rifado, how we doing?
Hey, can you guys hear me all right?
Yes, we can hear you. Welcome, welcome.
Wonderful, wonderful. Hey, what a match, man. Yeah, 100% agree with Joel. Chicharito, he's done. He's old news. It's unfortunate that his comeback wasn't what we all wanted it to be. It's not like he didn't have the support of the people and, the administration at Chivas, but it just didn't work out. And I wouldn't be too bothered if he never played again for us, because we got all these jovenazos, man. And this kid with, I think like a Middle Eastern or Indian sounding last name, Samir Indra, or his name is Christian Samir Indra.
Christian Samir Inda Becerra.
Oh, there we go. Not Indra, Inda.
It's like his, his Indian background had a baby with a cow, which is, sacrilegious. Oh, you went on mute, Rifado.
Yeah, so this kid is, 17 years old. His debut, he scores a late banger, straight bombazo, just to seal the deal. Chivas was looking shaky in the second half. Gago, everyone and their mother wanted Gago to fall on his face here, and we started off strong. I like this new lineup. I like that Sepulveda is on the bench. I think that's great. I like Campillo. I like that Castillo is back. And, we've played him at right back, even left back. And so it's good to see him in a center back of three. I think he's thriving there. So, I'm just really happy. I think, like, we started off the second half, like, just, like, not concentrated. And I think that bit us in the ass, and we got to work
Yep.
on that, like seeing games through and like just being like on it at all times, not letting up for 90 plus minutes. But like all in all, it was a good showing, and like it's what I've been saying for a while about Melito's Chivas. El fútbol sexo de Melito is coming together, and I'm hopeful.
It's about goddamn time. And you know what? With this Chivas team, you had a 3-0 defeat at home against the champions Toluca in a match where, you saw Alexis Vega score against Chivas, refused to, celebrate too lavishly. He did show some respect. And even in the press conference after, he's like, I still love this place and have nothing but respect for Chivas, even though they kept booing him all game. But it's another former Chivas scoring today with Chicote Calderon, and I agree, it was a tale of two halves. Chivas were very dominant in that first half. Let's talk about Isaac Romo's fucking pass, the Luis Romo's pass, man. Holy shit, dude. That hockey assist was a thing of beauty. That's something you see, in the midfield of Real Madrid, and he launched that playing center back today. It was a beautiful pass to Richie Ledesma, who sets up Hormiga for the 1-0, a much-needed goal at that time. And then, in my opinion, in Necaxa's best moment, we gave him a fucking second punch, un gancho al hígado. And again, it's Richie Ledesma with the assist, this time setting up Santiago Sandoval Gonzalez, hijo del negro Sandoval. And boy, this kid, he's got me excited. I like this. Ever since he debuted, I'm like, I like this kid a lot. He's got that energy. He has that confidence. He doesn't give a shit who he's playing against. And he's already got 2 goals for the season. I like this kid a lot. It's very interesting to see like where he's playing now, because I want to say when he first like started getting minutes at Chivas, he was not playing as a striker. But today they put him up top, and it worked out for Milito. However, the 2-0 scoreline is the most deceiving in football. And, when Chicote Calderon scored very early in that in that second half, I knew we were going to suffer for the next, 40 minutes, 30, 40 minutes. And at one point, Necaxa held possession and Chivas were on their back. And that goal from Samir Inda couldn't have come at a better time. A banger and a 3-1 result for Chivas. And keep in mind, we just lost some of our players to the Under-20 World Cup. So we didn't have Camberos, we didn't have Yael Padilla, and is there any other players that they took from us? I think they did, right?
I think that's it. But what I thought was really interesting about the game tonight was that we had 3 players that were multi-generational Chivas players. And what I mean by that is, I think it's 2. I'm not sure about Hormiga's dad. Did he play for Chivas, or was
I think so. He did.
He did. So it was 3 players whose fathers also played for Chivas, in Efrain Alvarez, Hormiga Gonzalez, and Santi Sandoval. And then we had Chicharito on the bench.
Yeah.
So, like, I think that was
his grandfather played for Chivas.
Yeah, 3 generations with Chicha. So I think that's interesting about about Chivas, and it's an indictment to what they've been building, and that's like.
And the player that left that's not playing, I forget his name. He just left and I already forgot him. Chavez.
Mateo Chavez.
He would have been another one. And things don't seem to be going well for him, but we could still add him to that list, because it's, it speaks of what the team is doing.
For sure. Well, look, we have too much of a Chivas orgy right now. We got to add some salt. Got to add some antagonists to tonight's chat. Abdias, welcome. Abdias, you're on mute.
Buenas, buenas, putos. Bueno, como estaba diciendo a mí mismo, I'm going to need you to repeat that intro because you've been getting mighty brave knowing that I get a couple seconds delay.
No, all I said was we were having too much of a Chivas circle jerk and we need to add some salt to the mix.
You were, güey, porque no mamen. Pinche Necaxa les estaba metiendo la verga todo el segundo tiempo. Like, Chivas had a downfall the entire second half. If anything, their goal, el empate estaba más cerca than you guys going one up.
That's true.
Or two up. Like, honestly, I was waiting just to hear, mamaron las Chivas.
I was waiting for it too. You know, they were at one point, we probably had less than 30, 40%. No, I would say like 40 to 35% possession. It was all Necaxa in that second half.
Güey, les estaban partiendo la madre. Like, worse que lo que le hago a mi vieja cuando me hacen cabronar. Like...
Hey, we're being pretty loud for sitting in 11th position with 11 points. So we're averaging 1 point a game, but we're not that far off from a play-in bubble.
But you know what?
No, wait.
It's a...
Didn't this put you in 10th? Like, they were saying it in Peacock.
No. Well, right now with...
I think it's dependent on the other teams.
So right now, Leon, who is above us in the 10th position, they're on a 0-0. So, yeah, technically we are because they have -6 goals against. We have -3. So we are potentially in 10th position. But right now it's a 0-0 draw with Leon. So that's going to put them above us.
Güey, no te preocupes. Es León. Es la misma pinche historia que Santos. Like...
So our next
an easy 3 points.
Puebla. So, we could very well be in the 9th position, 10th position. I can definitely see that happening, and the momentum is pointing in that direction.
Whoa, bro. La Franja's playing well. I don't know what you're talking about.
They're in last place. However, they did flip the script on Pachuca. They were down 1 goal, and then they scored 2. It was 2-1, and then Pachuca dramatically equalized it towards the end of the match.
Yeah, like, it's all about heating up at the right moments. And if the right moment is leaving Chivas out, so be it.
I will say the schedule got a little bit more accessible after the matches we had against America, Tigres, and Toluca. Win, draw, loss. And I will say, I mentioned on the last podcast, missing that PK to Tigres might come back to haunt us. Because it would have been so much different having an extra 2 points in the league standings.
Realistically, you have 2 more difficult games coming up. And that's the Atlas game and the Monterrey games. Those are Rayados.
Oh, I thought we had Pumas.
No, Rayados is your season closer.
Oh, shit. I mean, Pumas is also a complicated game for us, I think.
Bro, Juarez is beating the shit out of them right now. All right? And I've been telling y'all, keep an eye on Juarez. Right? Like last week when you guys were like, nah, pues you guys are playing Juarez. It's going to be a couple easy points. Quién sabe qué. I told you, I was like, no, way. Juarez is playing well. Like, they look good. They've been doing things right. Like, keep an eye on them. And here they are, beating Pumas que acaba de golear.
Talk to me about that game. I was really upset that they fucking had a paywall that game on ViX Plus because I was ready on Friday to watch some Liga MX, and I ended up watching some shit games because the Cruz Azul Juarez game was on ViX Plus, and I want to say that was probably the most entertaining match that Friday night. It was back and forth, right?
Yeah, it was back and forth the whole time. It was, like I've always said, if you're watching a Cruz Azul game y no te está sudando el culo, it's not a good Cruz Azul game. All right? Because neta, güey, it was back and forth. I didn't think we were going to win it. Y luego cayó el tercero. And so it was a good night, right? My wife got to go to bed by herself, tranquilita. Y yo acá, ¿verdad? Pedo y disfrutando la vida. But yeah, no, it was a lot of back and forth. It was Juarez took the initial lead. It was kind of looking poorly, pero in fucking I'm trying to remember his name right now. In Larcamon we trust. And he did that thing. He, kept the team together and they scored. ¿Verdad? Not the equalizer, pero sino dos más to go ahead to a 3-1. It was honestly, I enjoyed it. It was a good match. Honestly, I would probably say that it was the match of the week.
Rodolfo Pizarro scoring in that match. Also, Luca Romero getting a goal in that match. But yeah, I was pretty jealous of anyone who got to catch that one on Friday night. And,
Luca has had a couple goals this tournament. A couple good goals this tournament, too.
Mm-hmm.
So he's heating up, guys.
Heating up is an appropriate term for not just him, but the entire Cruz Azul team. They've won their last 5 matches, sitting in first place with 23 points. Again, nothing new for Cruz Azul, a very consistent league team in the normal season, and then in the playoffs, we'll see what happens.
But it's really good. They overcame that humiliating defeat, and which a lot of times can, that could have ended La Carmon.
Which one, man? Because there's so many that I lose count.
No, not 7-0, bro.
We're just talking about this season, okay?
That's why it wasn't that long ago. So, but yeah, like to bounce back from that, and you need to have the locker room trust you and the players, and it could
you
be
have
very
the institution trust you.
Yeah.
Porque todos estaban, no, fuera el Arcamón y que quién sabe qué, hasta los pendejos que se ponen afuera de la Noria, güey, estaban de que no, que se tiene que renunciar y quién sabe qué. It's like, güey, no mames. Like, I put importance to League's Cup, but at the same time, come on, man, it's a preseason tournament for us. It does mean something. You are supposed to win it, but it's not the type of tournament that gets coaches fired.
Yeah, and then it's those kind of freak games where every fucking shot just went the other team's way. I still remember the Pumas Chivas when it's about 7-0, I believe, the same score. And it was like just every fucking shot seemed to be like right at the angle. And it's just one of those games, but yeah, Cruz Azul just, swept that under the rug really quick in first place. And obviously I'll have them, they have themselves as contenders for the league title. I think they're top 4. If we were to do a list of the 4, contenders to win it, is they're obviously up there now.
I mean, there's a reason why they're sitting at number 1.
Yeah.
Furthermore, 0 games lost this entire tournament. All right, empatados y todo eso, pero es el único invicto en todo.
Don't worry, they'll lose it when it matters most.
Would you say Luca Romero has warranted a call-up to the selección or not?
Oh, I just said it's coming. No, you know what, dude? I'm going to be honest with you. I see Luca run, and I see the way that the plays develop for him, and it's very reminiscent of Cade Cowell when he first got to Chivas, right? He wins his hand-to-hands by just being fucking like stupidly athletic and aggressive, I said it before, it's that American style football where you're like, get the ball, Cade, get the ball, córrele pendejo, córrele. And that's
Go get me the football, go get it right now.
That's exactly it, way, because I see Luca playing is like, bro, I don't see any type of finesse. I don't see like something that fucking gets my dick hard. It's just like, all right, cool. Like maybe you have a higher than average soccer IQ, pero no tienes garra, no te estás partiendo la madre. You're not out there like throwing elbows. Like, what makes you special?
That's why he's playing at Liga MX. I mean, he fell from grace. He was out there playing in Serie A, right? And he was, looking like a hot prospect, but now he's fallen to Liga MX at a very young age.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Because that was the other assessment that I had when I was watching him on Friday. I was like, wait, I keep watching you, like I keep hoping for like sparks of magic to come, and I don't see them. In fact, I see more magic coming out of fucking I'm trying to remember now. The captain,
El capi
Al-
de quién?
de Cruz Azul, el güey que descalabraron, a Nacho Rivero. I see more magic coming out of Nacho than I see out of Luca. But that's because Nacho's Uruguayo, he plays till he fucking dies. He does those type of things. But I see like true football magic when he plays. Like bullshit that isn't supposed to happen happens. Versus with Luca, it's just like there was so much hype, there was so much expectation, and he still isn't delivering. Now, really quickly, I want to talk about, since we're talking about Cruz Azul, a little bit of rumors, and it's the fact that they're looking to sell Mateos Bogus.
Back to LA,
Right.
no?
I think so. And it's just, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like,
Money laundering, duh.
It has to be because, like, dude, he was one of the best players, has been one of the best players, right? On the team, he comes on and he's efficient. He does all of these things.
You must not like it in Mexico.
Or Larcamón doesn't like him. It's something must have happened, right? Maybe he was the only one who fucking got froggy at losing 7-0 against Seattle.
Hey, look, man, they no longer serve Polish hot dogs at Costco, and Cruz Azul is looking to get rid of their Polish dog as well. It's all business.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it because his stock was wicked high. And so it's one of those things where that's kind of the rumor mill right now that they're trying to offload him. Nobody has leaked any information as to why it is that that's happening, or at least why it is that they're entertaining those conversations. But we'll see what comes out of it. Now, the most important thing right now is Cruz Azul's in first place, only undefeated in the entire league. Furthermore, they have matched the record for Pumas' record for undefeated games in their own home. And it looks like they're about to break it too.
And it's Seoul?
So, yeah. Ever since they returned to Seoul,
That's crazy.
they haven't lost the match. They won an international championship. They've done all of these things.
You imagine having a buddy that's like, hey, man, do you mind if I crash at your place for a couple weeks? You're like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And in that time, he's fucking killing it. He's having a great run. He's over there fucking all the bad bitches. You're like, man, what the fuck? You can't just be doing this in my house.
Fucking squatters' rights, homie.
Not just doing it in your house, bro. He's doing it in your bed. Like, he's kicked you out of your bed. I'm like, you know what? You take the futon. You're obviously not using the bed.
Here, sit in the cuck chair and sit down.
And you know what? By the way, I'm going to keep your flashlight too.
Yeah, Cruz Azul is hot, and honestly, they're probably going to continue to extend that streak. They have Querétaro tomorrow. Seems like a layup. Fuck Querétaro. They should be relegated and playing in the second division, in my opinion.
Yo, Querétaro has been spending money. They've been buying players recently on the low.
Name one.
Oh, I don't have specific names. Hold on. I was listening to Señorada, and they were talking about it. They're like, no, they did do the purchase to the Americans, right?
They also beat
and
Pachuca 2-0 over the weekend, no?
I believe so. So those investments are coming along, man. It's not an overnight thing. All right. It's not like, oh shit.
I get
Is
it.
there a dust storm blowing into Juarez?
I would not be surprised. It's dusty as over there.
It is, man, because right now what they're dealing with is super intense winds, and they just did a shot of like the surrounding area and
Oh
the
shit.
stadium lights, and it was that of a bunch of dust blowing in.
I gotta tap in right now. Check out the stream. That is not surprising. They've already had a game earlier this season that was delayed because of the dust storms.
And you know what's the funny thing? It was a Pumas game too.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It was a game against Pumas.
Well, how is that possible if they're playing them right now?
That was because it was last season.
Oh, was it last season? Damn, dude, time flies.
Yeah, last tournament. No, that's what happens when you have 2 tournaments in one season.
That's
It
true.
fucks up with our perspective of time.
Yeah. For sure, they're still up 1-0 against Pumas, 43rd minute and some change. Yeah, let's go a little bit back to that game against Toluca, Chivas Toluca over the weekend, 3-0. Yeah, you got your shit pushed in at home. Honestly, I think it was an unfortunate series of events because that goal, the first goal that Paulinho ends up putting in the back of the net, Talavera did a really good job of coming out and cutting off the angle. He actually had his hands on the ball, but it was a really unfortunate ricochet. He loses possession of the ball. Paulinho doesn't even think twice about it. He puts it in the back of the net, 1-0. And then immediately on a corner kick, they try to do zone defense. It didn't work out. Jesus, big-ass head, Gallardo ends up making it 2-0 in 2 minutes. So within the first 25 minutes, we're already down 2-0, and that's all she wrote, honestly. Chivas were not going to come back from that. And Alexis Vega ended up scoring a toe kick around the 56th minute. A red card from El Oso Gonzalez. It's really unfortunate because we're already down 2-0, and now we're down a man. The referee did have a makeup red card in the second half with Bruno Mendez. But the damage was done. And honestly, I think the story of that game on Saturday, on top of, Alexis Vega scoring against us, is the performance of Javier Hernandez. It was a really, really hard thing to watch. It was like watching Oscar De La Hoya fight against Manny Pacquiao. His body just did not respond to the abuse. And it's time for Chicharito to have a serious conversation with himself and consider retiring before he does permanent damage to his image, because it was a really tough thing to watch. And to his credit, he actually still had great positioning. Even in that header that went fucking sideways, he was in a really good position. He was all by himself. Like, that instinct doesn't go away, but clearly his head's not in the right place. Literally not in the right place. And after seeing what these kids can do, Sandoval, Inda, hopefully after Yael Padilla and Camberos ball out in the Under-20 World Cup, Milito will have no excuse but to play these kids, because that is what we should be looking at. We should not be looking at the past. We need to be looking into the future, which is unfolding right in front of us.
Yeah, but tell me how hard your dick was when he got announced.
Who?
How much hope you guys had for Chicha.
I had called him out like we want Chicha a couple seasons ago, especially when he was like ends up going to LA Galaxy. I'm like, well, if you're gonna go to LA Galaxy, you might as well come back to Chivas. And I always knew eventually he would come back to Chivas, but I didn't expect it to be this bad. I know he had a pretty crucial injury in the MLS, and I just don't think he ever recovered from it. However, there is a man named JJ Mack that has something to say about injuries, because that fucker keeps scoring. He actually has more goals registered under his name than Chicharito in the last 2 years.
One more, and he matches his entire record since he returned to Liga MX, which is really fucking sad.
It is sad. It is sad. It's not even a matter of like anger or frustration anymore. It's just like pure sadness. Watching, at least to me, he was one of my favorite players of all time, and just seeing his like second half of his career unfold has been it's like watching a train wreck, man. It's sad.
Honestly, dude, the worst thing is like, look, I'll take a player who says some controversial shit. That's why Zlatan was one of my favorite, has been one of my favorite players ever. Just like when he got to LA, he took a full page ad in the LA Times saying, "You're welcome, Los Angeles. I have brought football to your city." Like, that type of shit, I'm all about it. But the thing is, Zlatan was able to cash in those checks. Unlike fucking Chicha, his
Yeah.
body cannot take it anymore.
Zlatan actually can back up his shit talking, which I respect so fucking much.
Exactly. And Chicha just keeps getting broken, keeps having these issues that are like physical issues. It's not like that his head is in the right place or anything like that. Like the whole super misogynist thing, I fucking loved him for it. Right? It was honestly probably the greatest thing that Chicha has done since his return to Liga MX. Getting all the, purple haired feminazis in Mexico going after him has been beautiful. Pero neta, güey, like he should retire because even then, as of right now, his contract is up in December.
Yep.
Right? So the last rumor that I saw was that he was looking at going into the Premier League Championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is like, dude, you're going to the second division? Like, just fucking hang up the boots.
There's some soccer circle jerk nerds that would say the championship in England is better than some first divisions.
Okay, I thought I was gonna have to give you un pinche putazo, and you were gonna say that it's better than Liga MX.
There are people. What was that one player that was like rumored to play in the second division, and everybody's like, "Yeah, that's a great move." I forgot what player was like rumored to go to the championship. I'm like, hell no, that's not a fucking good move.
Look. The only reason why I'll support a move to the championship is as a stepping stone. All right? Like, if you're going there and you're using it as a stepping stone and you believe in yourself enough to go and picar piedra that way, do it, man. More power to you. Have more eyes on you and move up. Don't go there to fucking retire. Don't go there to try to reignite your career. Like, much less don't go there thinking or believing that it's a step up from Liga MX. No, if anything, you're going there to get eyes on you, to get that European exposure, and for people to be like, well, shit. If he can cut it out over here, he's already tearing it up over there. Now he's doing it over here as well. Let's take a chance on this little beaner.
I like the championship for, like maybe prospects, or honestly, if Wrexham were ever to try to seduce a Mexican player, I'd be all for it because I love Wrexham and they need all the support to get into the Prem League. Because that's a Cinderella story, but there's not too many teams or too many projects in the championship that I would feel confident in letting a player from Mexico go over there just because of the permits and all the policies. It's not easy. That's why we don't really see too many Mexicans in England, to be honest. It's very hard.
Bro, I'm just waiting for Mac and Deadpool to pull that Orlegi move and just take players from Necaxa over there.
Yeah, that's true. Although I will say there might be someone that will prevent that from happening, and her name is Eva Longoria.
Oh, I thought you were going to say La Patrona.
Yeah, La Patrona. Yep.
Also, by the way, hell of a watch, guys. Whoever isn't watching, you should go ahead, tune in. It's a love story to Mexican soccer in general.
Yeah, I remember watching like the debut episode and I fucking forgot to like keep watching it. So I need to go back and catch up with all the Welcome to Necaxa episodes on Hulu. But yeah, speaking of Necaxa, they actually got a victory on Friday over Puebla 1-0. And then Mazatlan, unfortunately, drew to Atlas. Atlas rescued a point because they were down 1-0. And in the very late gaming, they got a penalty and scored it 1-1. Tijuana, without Gil Mora, pushed Leon's shit in 5-0 on Friday. What is happening to León? They are struggling really bad.
As of right now, a lot of the blame with what's going on in Leon is being put on the head coach. That the head coach wasn't ready and this and that. And the funny thing is, I have been seeing rumors of Anselmi coming back to Mexico, right? From Fox Deportes, from several other outlets, where they're not willing to say who the sources are or what the teams are that are tapping him, but that it's because they don't want to stir the pot right now with the possibility of firing their head coach. But the two that come to mind right now is Pachuca with the whole issues that they're having with Jimmy, and Leon that just seems to not be able to fire in any type of fucking cylinders right now. Because they were stupid hot and then they just fell off like no other. And so,
yeah, I think after they got rejected from going to the Club World Cup, I think the Leon project has lost a lot of gas, a lot of momentum, and I'm sure James Rodriguez is pissed. But yeah, Leon is not in a good position, neither is Pachuca. But how do you feel about your ex-Flame returning to Liga MX, which is inevitable? It's inevitable. Let's call it what it is. If you're a good coach in Liga MX, you end up going abroad, there is a high probability that you will be returning and coaching in Liga MX again. And I'm sure that rubs you the wrong way, especially the way he left.
you know what? I'm going to answer your question with this. How did you feel when Necaxa announced that they were bringing back Gago?
I thought the joke was on them because clearly, like, what he did at Boca was so embarrassing that your only choice of employment is to return back to Liga MX. Like, come on, man. I'm really upset that he returned to Liga MX because it's like he doesn't deserve to get another shot in Liga MX after what he did at Chivas, and karma gets you in the end, and he got it tonight.
That's my thing, right? It's just like, wait.
But Anselmi took you guys to a final, bro. That's different, dog.
It's just the way he left, bro. Like, Cruz Azul invested well over, I think it was like 11 mil that offseason. And then he just fucking dipped. And then the whole money issues and then everything that happened, right? He fucking hid from the press, from the press, when he was at the airport. And then he goes onto his first press conference and be like, oh, when I was at Cruz Azul, I wanted to talk to y'all. I wanted to address the players and the fans and this and that. No, you fucking didn't. You hid from people. Like, everybody knows how it is when you're a soccer player or a coach coming in and out of Mexico City, how the paparazzi are always there. They're filming.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know, just watch the latest bullshit that happened with the guys from La Cotorrisa, right? It's fucking beautiful. Honestly, you guys should take some time. Whoever's listening to this, take some time and look up La Cotorrisa and los medios de comunicación, and you're going to see the whole shit show that has happened recently. But it's just one of those things where, like, güey, respétate 3 pesos. Like, ni es tanto, güey. Nomás 3 putos pesos es todo que te pido. Respétate como yo quiero que te respetes a ti mismo. And unfortunately, Liga MX isn't that place. So, yeah, they'll go back to the abusive boyfriend. Yeah, they'll go back to sitting in the cuck chair and just waiting until they leave. Like, I wonder if Necaxa has bolted down their AC units yet. Because it's going to happen.
I want to know where Joel is because the Lambo Jimmy is not doing so well. And he was one of the few people defending Jimmy Lozano. And of course, Pachuca had a pretty decent start to the season, right? So where you at now, Joel, when they're
I'm
sucking it
still
up?
here. Well, I mean, this is his first season. I don't know why we have these expectations that you take over a club and you're supposed to pretty much land there, all cylinders running. Um, he arrived to this team. I think, and this was always my criticism that I think he came in at the wrong time, having to start at the club's World Cup.
Yeah.
And I felt that was just a big task, and I didn't think Pachuca really prepped well for that. They had just lost their coach, who they were banking on, and so I think it was, you know, bad timing, but it's on him because he took the job, and it's always gonna it's the optics. It's gonna make you look bad, especially when there's already this, you know, this negative. There's been so much negativity. I think he was some of the stuff that happened with the national team. Basically, his big sin was losing against the U.S. Overall, he was pretty average. I don't think he was bad, but they made him seem worse. I mean, he's in eighth place. I don't think that's that bad. Um, he's in eighth place with 14 points. Fourth place is 18. So, I mean, I would love it if Chivas was in that position. So I don't think he's doing a bad job. Um, we one thing we've known of like Tuzos is that they'll look good for like 2 seasons. That's like 4 tournaments. Enough to win the league or be a contender, and then they'll sell off all their better players, and then they sort of start off all over again. And they bring players from abroad, and then sometimes they'll get some really good ones, and then other times it's just quite average. So I think for me it's optics, man. Optics. I'd be surprised if the Tuzos replace Jimmy so soon. I think at the very least they'll let him stay until the end of the season. Because I mean he's got Liguilla right now.
There was a
you
clip,
know,
though, that got leaked. And, I'm always very skeptical about, especially like locker room chatter being leaked. I almost feel like it's intentionally leaked out to the press and to the
yeah,
journalists. But, they were very, very vocal and very upset about that defeat to Querétaro. And I'm sure it's affecting attendance as well. I mean, Pachuca hasn't always had, like, sometimes you look at their games and like, wow, like
yeah,
it's very hard to sell out a crowd in Hidalgo. But yeah, man, this is not helping Jimmy's case.
yeah.
And it's such a shame because they actually did start the season like undefeated and doing really well, and that's kind of what's been carrying them, honestly, because their last 5 results is draws and defeats.
Yeah, yeah, they hit a slump. But I mean, look at the teams that are in front of him.
They lost to
Just the top
Querétaro,
four.
dog.
I know, but that's Liga MX. That's Liga MX. That happens, bro. You know what I mean? Chivas was losing to Mazatlan, and the fans were having a fit. But I think we've known this about the league, where it's then the thing that we all like about this league is that the champion's not going to be 30 points ahead of the last place. And even the last place teams, talent wise, they're not that far from some of the other teams. They'll have a bad season, but talent wise, they're not that far. But just really quick before Riffraff jumps in, um, Cruz Azul first, Monterrey second, Toluca third, America fourth. You come on, Pachuca's not near those teams. And then you have Tijuana and Tigres and Juarez. Um, so yeah, if anything, they're battling Tijuana and Juarez. I would think the top 5 are all the ones that are like with the with overall better investment and deep pockets. and Pachuca knows that they're not going to compete with them in that front. It's why they thrive off of getting into Liguilla, and that whole system is what helps them win. Because if it was just points, I don't think they would have been as successful as they've been. But I think I don't know, man. I feel they're being a bit harsh on Jimbo here. I guess they must have lost faith already. And again, that Clubs World Cup is going to be hanging over his head. And I know the media is going to point that out any chance they get. But I think that's mainly the whole. Right now, if it's your Pachuca, what's your main fear? It should be that you'll miss out on the Liga, because that's where you make some good coins. But I'm still banking on Jimbo. I wouldn't call it the Lambo Jimmy, but I don't think he's a bad coach. So I hope at the very least he gets to finish the season.
I agree, and I just want to piggyback off what Joel was saying and defend my boy Jimmy and the Lambert Jimmy. You know, during the 2-0 loss to Querétaro, they were without Elias Montiel, who I think had left to the U20 or was resting for the U20 call-ups, right? And so they were without their best player. And if you look at who was playing, like you'll see that like it's on these guys, and they're not performing to how they used to be. And if you look at Victor Guzman, Pocho Guzman, Idrisi, like these guys, they're nowhere near the form that they used to be, and they're not putting in the performances that they used to for Pachuca. And so like there's no one to like resolve these issues. But even these losses can be explained a little bit better. Like just the other pod, Abdias was talking about how Cruz Azul only narrowly beat Pachuca. The best team in Liga MX only narrowly beat Pachuca, and it was undeserved, is what Abdias said. I'm quoting the Chemo, who is for the Chemos, right? And so like Pachuca isn't getting cleared. They're not cheeks like Joel likes to say. They're losing. They're in a bad moment. Some players need to improve, and some other pivotal pieces are in at the U20 World Cup, and so like things just aren't aligning for them. But I don't think people should count them out. Is what I'm trying to say.
For sure, but that doesn't sell magazines and articles and gets viral on videos. Everyone likes to shit on Lambo Jimmy after losing.
Well, he's still tainted by the L3, man. Like,
Yeah.
It's the poison chalice for anyone, because like this crop of players has for a long time been shit, and it's hard to get anything from them. So I think it's unwarranted and unfair for my boy Jimmy, who is a nepo baby, but he's got some talent.
All right, but here's the question: how much of the work and performance that Pachuca has been putting in is credited to Jimmy versus, that shadow that he must overcome, Almadas?
Yeah, he got left a dope ass project, man. Like, for sure.
Exactly. Like he got
But
left
also
a good project. He got left good players.
But they also got picked apart. Like they lost.
Yeah, it did. There you go. It's
They
not like
lost
they left them the
one
team at
player.
the top.
And then they
lost
brought in
Kennedy.
Quiñones.
Who else did they lose? Odessa to Real Betis, or to Monterrey, then Real Betis, Chiquito Sanchez. Like these Hoyas, dude. These are some.
Chiquito left way before, bro.
Still,
No mames.
bro. I'm just saying, like.
No. I'm talking about from
They're
when
not exactly
Almeida left
world beaters,
to
though.
what Jimmy inherited.
So I would
it
consider.
wasn't
Like that group has been well groomed, well worked.
it wasn't, that team wasn't firing on all cylinders when the dude left. When the former coach left, it's not like exactly they were challenging for the league title. Their main thing was that they were going to go to the Clubs World Cup, and I guess he must have known something because he got the fuck out of there. He's like,
I've said why he got out. He got out because they were bitching and groaning about not getting an off season, about having to train in order to go to the Club World Cup.
Yeah.
And he said, if this is the attitude you guys want to take into that, if this is the project that you guys are envisioning, I'm out. So he left. And then Jimmy took it over and just spread the cheeks. Now, on the other hand, just a couple fucking months before, he won intercontinental championships. He went and faced Real Madrid. Granted, those cheeks got clapped, but it's by fucking Real. All right?
It's a bit confusing what you just said. You said he won an intercontinental championship, but he got his cheeks clapped. I don't.
By Real Madrid way.
He won
So
the.
did
He won the.
He
He
beat
won.
Botafogo.
He won the South America. It was like CONCACAF for South America, right?
He also won the one against the
He won
Saudis.
games, you mean? He
No,
won
they're
some
championships. They were championships.
It was an intercontinental cup, and they played the best team in CONMEBOL, and they won that. But then they got.
I remember that one. Yeah.
They got like what, third place in the Club World Cup? I forgot.
No, they got second.
Second place, yeah.
They got second place because they went up against Botafogo for the Americas. Then they went up against, I want to say Al Khali or something like that, one of those Saudi teams, and beat them. And then they went into the final, which was against Real Madrid. And that's the one that they lost. So they won two trophies. And then on the third one is where you had to go up against Real, which also Real didn't have to play any other game to get to the final. They just chilled.
But that wasn't
you
under
had a
Jimmy.
Team. No. That was under Almeida. Pero como dice Joel, no, they weren't firing all cylinders. They weren't doing this. No mames, güey. They were a good team. They were a good project. They were well worked.
For sure. We'll see what happens with Pachuca, but I don't anticipate them winning any silverware this season. But maybe they can give one of the top 4 teams some trouble, maybe eliminate them in an upset. Let's talk about Monterrey America over the weekend. After the Chivas 3-0 defeat, that was the next game on. And honestly, I thought Monterrey was going to run away with this. Fidel Ambriz scoring very early, 17 minutes in, and then Sergio Canales making it 2-0. However, America were able to claw their way back into the game late and ended up rescuing a point. The game ended 2-2. And with that, America sit in 4th position with 18 points. Monterrey right behind Cruz Azul with 22. Who does America play this week? Trying to find it right now. They play San Luis tomorrow. And then Pumas on Saturday. Pretty accessible games for America. But I know that the fan base is frustrated, because they should have beat Chivas at home. Now you get a draw against Monterrey. America, what's going on?
You want to know what's the funny thing, dude? Oh, Pumas just scored. They just tied it 1-1.
Nice.
What I was gonna say, the
was
funny
it JJ
thing,
Mack?
No. It's that
The Panamanian.
Yeah, the Panamanian, big Afro guy.
Yes, sir.
What's it called? What I was gonna say, the funny thing is, historically, at least over the last couple tournaments, San Luis has been giving America a hard time. They haven't been just simple games that they 100% win. Les ha estado sudando el culo against San Luis, which is interesting because this is a David versus Goliath type shit.
Hey, once upon a time, did America own San Luis? Like Televisa?
I think they were like a feeder club. They had some connection. Same thing with Necaxa, right? But that was a long time ago. But what I wanted to say about this Club America game is that the right back, this jovenazo, Dagoberto Espinosa, tore his meniscus on his left knee. I think he's out for like a year now. is unfortunate because he won that right back position from Reyes and Alvarez, and it's unfortunate that this Jovenazo, his season is taken away from him.
That is unfortunate.
But yeah, man, the Huilas, they're not convincing, but they lucked out, man. What the hell, dude? Monterrey being their regular selves, dude. Fucking perpetual losers, right up there with the Chemos. And they have so much goddamn talent. I look at their fucking roster.
I know.
Berterame is in great form. Ocampos, Canales, these guys, Sevilla, Real Betis, good players for both these Spanish clubs. It should be. And if you look at the goals, they're 82nd, 89th minute. Like these, Monterrey should have seen this game through, and they collapsed on themselves like they always do. So, no surprise there.
I didn't catch the second half of that game, so I'm asking y'all: did you see any influence from the refereeing to get that draw? Because I mean, they were doing everything they could to get a draw against Chivas, adding 13, 20 minutes of stoppage. Against that game versus Monterrey, since they were late goals, did you see any foul play there by the referee?
I had this game in the background, so I wasn't like watching it too hardcore, but I didn't see anything like the 20 minutes of extra time that was added during the Super Clásico. But another interesting thing about this game was the debut of Anthony Martial, ex-Manchester United.
Oh, Monsieur Martial.
Yeah, there you go. France legend. And he came in the 90th minute, dude. So, I mean, he didn't really play, so we really didn't see shit from him.
I'm sure him and Maxime were like, look at us. Look at how we're doing. We're in Liga MX now. I will say, Anthony Martial playing in Liga MX is not what I had on my bingo card this year. I remember when he was a prospect, I think he played at Monaco, right? And when Manchester United signed him, I was very excited for his career, but just didn't pan out. And now he's playing in Liga MX, which is great. I think he's a great signing. Curious to see how he performs, how he adapts to the heat, the altitude, and all the shithousery that happens in Liga MX. I don't know if he's ready for it. I don't know if he's built for this kind of league.
I remember him having a really good touch and taking on his man well, but not concreting or not making anything of substance like an assist or a goal.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how he does in a league where I think you have more time on the ball. I think he might hit the ground running, but we didn't get enough sample size to see where he's at.
It looks like the equalizer from Pumas was taken away. It's still 1-0 Juarez. So today we had we missed the last one of the weekend. A 4-1 ass pounding by San Luis to Santos. Juan Manuel Sanabria scored early, and then Joao Pedro scored a brace. Also had Benjamin Galdames scoring in this match, and overall a quite dominant performance by San Luis, and they are right behind Chivas in 12th position with 10 points. So yeah, today we had some action, and overall I am liking these midweek matches. It's a nice little bonus, I don't want to wait a whole weekend to watch Liga MX, and I know Chivas have been taxed quite a bit, because they had to make up that game against Tigres last week, and then having to play Toluca, and then I believe they got a game on Friday against Puebla, so really not much rest in between games for this Chivas team. And again, they've lost some players to the Under-20 World Cup. Rifalo, this is your time to shine, man. You are the kid watcher. You got the official badge. And we have a very exciting Under-20 World Cup approaching us soon. Mexico will debut against Brazil on Sunday. What can we expect? What are some of the players to look out for? I feel like this might be one of the best squads in the tournament.
Yeah, 100%. And we have a good a good cosecha of players. We have Gilberto Mora, Obed Vargas, Elias Montiel, just to name a few. And those are the guys that are like day in, day out starters for their teams, right? And that makes for a really strong midfield for this U20 side. But we also have players like Amberos, Yael Padilla, so like some speedy wingers from Chivas and a few other players, So I do think I'm hopeful, but it's not going to be easy, right? So we're going to start off against Brazil on Sunday the 28th. We're going to follow up with against Spain on yeah on Wednesday the 1st of October, and then we're going to finish off the group against Morocco on the 4th. So like I don't think I think after Brazil we'll see if we'll see our chances, man. But basically we got to win the first two. I think we got to win all three. We got to get a point at least, 7 points to advance.
I have a question. I'm assuming Lamine Yamal is not going to play in this tournament.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah. That being said, I mean, Spain shits out teenagers. Like they're gonna. All of these matches are very, very complicated for Mexico. I will say I did see a graphic saying that compared to other under 20 rosters, this Mexican team has accumulated a lot of professional minutes, and this might be the most like seniored under 20 team that we've ever had. And that's very promising, right? Because sometimes they throw these kids out to the lions. They're young. They haven't even gotten their footing in professional football. They're still playing in the academies and the under. Go
just
ahead.
To like add to like some of the guys that I didn't mention for some round, we have Amaury Morales from Cruz Azul, who's like it's really hard to break into the best performing consistent team in all of Liga MX. Amaury Morales has managed to do that under multiple technicals. Three coaches have utilized him as like someone like to resolve things late on, right? And then he was a starter for Anselmi sometimes. But so he's a good player. We have Tahiel, who is like an 18-year-old striker from Santos. We have Stefano Carrillo, who's in the second division, out on loan for Feyenoord. Another Santos product. We have Pachuca, Jose Rodrigo Pachuca from Puebla. He was a starter for them. Let's see, 6'3". He's a big boy, born July 24, 2005. So he's 20 years old. If you've heard my rundowns, you've heard me talk well of this guy. Plays for Puebla. He's 6'3", only 20 years old. Jose Pachuca. And then, this is a starter, right? This is a starter. Oh, you know what? You know who else is in here? This other guy that I've touted. His name is Everardo Lopez del Villar. And he was a starter for Toluca, for Turco. And if you've heard my rundowns, you've heard me say that's fucking mission impossible right there. Turco doesn't like jovenazos. And he sure as shit isn't going to put one in defense unless he trusts him. And this guy's been a left back or a center back for the best team this last tournament, which is Toluca. So we have no joke. And I just checked out the Spanish team, and it looks like a bunch of fucking Joe Schmoes, man. But they train those guys to pass really well with each other. So I don't know, maybe they got them drilled real well, and that's what matters. But the media is right. This crop of players has so many minutes at the highest level of Mexican soccer, and it goes to show you that it's a very talented crop.
Yeah, mind you, they did suffer a defeat today, a friendly against Colombia, 3-2. I think Chicha, right? He's one of the shortest players in the league, plays for Tigres, got a goal in that defeat. But grain of salt, right? It's friendlies, and I don't think any of the main starters played or started that game. But I don't like going into tournaments as sort of like a favorite or a team that has a lot of attention. I don't like it when Mexico is like considered a favorite. I like it when they're considered like, or not even considered. They're kind of like not known, maybe a dark horse. But I honestly think that the expectations for this team, based on the kind of players that are in this tournament and the amount of minutes and experience they've already accumulated in their careers, I think they're expected to, at least get on the podium. I believe Mexico's best finish in the under 20 was third place, right? So to repeat that would be some sort of, even just to get out of the group would be some kind of accomplishment, right?
For sure, it would, man. And then you know who else made the roster? The guy with the girl name that I mentioned a few weeks back, Carol Jeziel Velasquez. What kind of fucking name? Anyway, he's 20 years old and he plays for Cruz Azul, and his name is Carol. What the fuck were his parents?
Okay, I don't think getting out of group would be an accomplishment for Mex. I think Mex at the youth level has already shown they're a top 10 team, and their results speak for itself. I think they're making strides here. I think it's unfortunate they landed in a group with Brazil and Spain, and what are the odds? But I wouldn't be surprised if they made it out. I think we're quick to discount a lot of times our team, and then a lot of times go after these other teams just because they're a lot of times just because of their senior team, not so much how their youth teams have been doing. But I think Mex been knocking at the door, man. And I think under 20 is one of the main ones they need to be more successful at. And so I think that's a big reason they put in Mora. And I think this could be his tournament. And if he looks good against those teams in the group stage, all the better. I do feel he can open the door for some of the other youngsters. But for me, just getting out of group stage, no, it's not an accomplishment. Mex has done this before, even at senior level. Even in group of death, the times and at the World Cup they've been group of death, they managed to survive it. So I think for this Mex, like you said, Jaime, third place, it's they will be setting the bar higher, reaching the final. I think that will be it. But I do think this tournament is doable. For Mexico, they won Olympic, which is under 23, and I think under 20, it's very possible for Mexico to put one of those trophies in their coffers. And if they could get out of that group stage, not if they can, if they get out of that group stage, I think they're going to be one of the favorites to win it all.
No, those are some heavy words, man.
Well, I mean, who else are you going to have left?
Yeah. Brazil and Spain. If you beat them, you're going to win it all for sure.
Don't forget Marruecos. So, but I think it is. Joel, you bring up a good point. Mexico has like the Benjamin Button syndrome, where it's like reverse. It's like the youth is the one that produces these generational talent, or these generaciones de oro. But something happens between like the youth to that next level. African countries as well, but they're in a tough group. Spain, Colombia, and I think Morocco as well.
Spain, Brazil, dog.
Oh shit! I take that back. That's even tougher. But I think that even if they don't make it out, it's all about the showing. Like, showcase that you belong at the stage. Although I think that Mexico at this youth level, they should be considered a favorite. I think that's not unreasonable. At the senior level, it's like that's daydreaming.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're in a group with Brazil and Spain, just because of the senior team and the history behind those teams, they're not going to be seen. But I mean, they're not going to be seen as one of the favorites. I do feel that at youth level, Mexico is top 10. And I'm lumping all the under 17, under 23, under 20, just because their results have been there for the most part, and the silverware is there. So they're
Aside
one of
from
the more consistent teams.
yeah, aside from Mora, have you guys scouted or pinpointed anybody that's like catching your eye or is like got some hype?
Yeah,
Just
Tomas.
refresh weekly, man.
Well, Tomas, one thing I want to emphasize is I know these guys are under 20, but a lot of these players have accumulated a lot of first division minutes, like Obed Vargas, and obviously you have Yael Padilla and Camberos and Elias Montiel. I mean, these guys are at least. I think Gil Mora and Elias Montiel have the potential to go to the World Cup next year. They should be. They should be like in the World Cup next year. So like these guys have like a lot of experience.
Obed too, isn't he getting hyped? I saw some rumors about going to Europe, but I think it was more so the way that he comported himself against Messi. I don't know if he's that good, but I saw that as well.
Hey man, he came from Alaska, dog. So that dude's had. If you can survive that, you can survive anything. It ain't shit.
Yeah, you had to escape polar bears and shit.
So I was looking at the groups, right? And CONCACAF has some decent representation. There's 4 CONCACAF teams. You have Panama in Group B. You have Mexico in Group C, right? And then we have Cuba in Group D, and then we have the USA in Group E. So I think that's really interesting. But the most interesting guest in this World Cup is New Caledonia. I don't even know where the fuck that
What
is.
the hell?
Sounds like King
That is
Thrones type of
isn't that a
shit.
Spanish like a former Spanish territory, if I'm not mistaken?
Wait, you said Catalonia or what'd you say?
Caledonia, New Caledonia.
The fuck?
What was that?
They got
What
like
was that?
their flag is like 2 flags. It's got like the French flag, and then they got like another emblem. And
So it's an island. Yeah,
it's a French island.
It's a French island
Oh,
east of Australia.
interesting. That's so random. Hey, look, I've been looking at the squads for Brazil and Spain, and I'm sorry, man. I do not recognize a single player. And that just goes to show how deep like these countries are, because they're sending their fucking, I don't even know, like their prospects to this shit. You know, you don't see Yamal in this. You don't see, I don't know if Pedri's like past 20 now, but I remember like Pedri and who was the other midfielder from Spain that was just like balling out? Gavi. Like these guys are like, fuck that, dude. We're grown ass men now. We're over here trying to win some league titles. We're starters in our teams. We're not just prospects on our teams. And I think that's like the different like level of talent that some of these countries have. Like Brazil can afford to send some of their prospects, whereas Mexico, we're sending some players that are like, I say like a little bit too mature to be playing in under 20 now.
And some people dare to say that Mexico is not sending their best. Come on, guys. Proof is in the pudding.
But I think the comparison's not fair when you're talking about a player that is in one of the world's top teams, and they have different compromisos and with the patrocinadores and all that. It's a whole different thing, so it's kind of that makes the comparison a bit unfair. I think if there wasn't if we didn't have all these other things, I do think they would want him there. So I do think these national teams all want to win.
Lamine Yamal is competing for Player of the Year. The Balón de Oro just fell short.
Right.
So it's like
I know, but
I niveles to this. You know what I mean?
No, but I'm saying just because of the team he plays in and the matches they have, and all the sponsorships and all that, then there's a whole different level of expectations. So a lot of times the clubs don't want to let go of these players because it's expensive. They lose money. That's to me it's one of the reasons, and their federations are pretty like slack about it, and they won't press to have the player called up. That to me, those are some of the reasons that that a lot of times you don't see it. But I mean, we talked about this. We saw how Argentina will call up Messi and Agüero. Um, so, but I mean, I think Max is just even those players we're talking about. They're not even at that level either. It's not like missing some games that you know with Tijuana it compares to he's gonna miss a Champions League match. It's
I
just
think
a whole
I
different ball game.
you look at Tijuana, right? They're actually in a very good position right now. They're in 5th place.
Yeah,
And we talked about Pachuca. They're in 8th place. They're like on the bubble. This affects them pretty bad. It's a detriment to them because they're losing some. It's crazy to say that a 16-year-old is like pivotal to your team, but Montiel is pivotal to Pachuca, man. It's like you're losing him for like basically a month, and that could cost you Liguilla, right? Like, I mean, that's a huge blow.
But for Pachuca, they want to have him there because they're in the business of selling.
They already have a team in Europe. They already own a team in Europe, so like it's not like
Yeah, but his stock will go up if he looks boss against Brazil and
for sure
Spain, and it looks good. His stock just goes up automatic.
This is a audition, if you will, for a lot of these prospects, your Gil Moras of the world, your Montiels of the world. And honestly, my big takeaway from like this under-20 World Cup, I don't have any expectations for Mexico. I think it's better when we don't. If you say, oh, these guys are favorites to win the World Cup, we're not going to win the World Cup, right? It's the mindset that you need to have, right, to win a tournament like that. But I just hope that we have a very impressive showing to the point where not just Gabriel Milito can't ignore this, but Javier Aguirre can't ignore this. He cannot ignore that you cannot afford to not call up Gil Mora, Elias Montiel to the World Cup, maybe Obed. And I've been waiting for Camberos and Yael Padilla to like finally have their flowers. They've shown glimpses of greatness, and I'm so fucking tired of seeing, a Piojo take the starting spot or a Cade Cowell take the start. These guys should be playing week in, week out for Chivas because they have that talent. And if they ball out in this under-20 World Cup, they cannot be ignored anymore. And that's what I'm hoping we get out of this World Cup.
Yeah, what the fuck is going on with Camberos? For you Chiva hermanos, he was a big hype talent, but he's like buried on the bench, and then you see these guys that shouldn't be getting playing time. I don't know if it's like because these guys are getting paid, they're trying to justify it. Because Camberos was rumored to go to Europe, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Tomas, he was on an expiring contract, and he was kind of bullied into renewing his contract with Chivas. We saw how they were treating him. He wasn't being featured anymore. He wasn't getting minutes. And eventually he caved in and extended his contract with Chivas, but it was very obvious that they were using those dirty tactics against him. And a real quick update from this Juarez Pumas game. Guys, Rodolfo Pizarro is heating up. He just scored another goal. It's 2-1 Pumas 2-1 Juarez 77th minute.
What could have been if Pizarro wasn't a lazy piece of shit? Right?
Hey man, Chivas fucking dealt him when he wasn't even asked. They just said, you're going to Monterrey, pack your bags, which was insane, right? Like after you're winning a title, you just fucking send him out.
Yeah, I don't think they had finished paying. I think they were like on the layaway, pay as you go plan. So I think Pachuca was the one that needed their money, but at the end he did sign on the dotted line. They threw some.
You have a choice.
His wages. They did have a choice.
They already agreed to the transfer. How many times have we
seen players take it to the Court of Appeals and win, like Pulido and all of them? He did have a choice.
Yes, but the sale didn't happen in a vacuum. Pizarro, there was some back dealings. There was some media shit where he partied too hard, said some stupid things. He was talented, always talented, but there was always some personal mental thing with him that kept him from being as great as I thought he could have been.
Yeah.
Well, like I don't doubt that the deal between the parties involved was made without him. I don't think he got to choose the club, but I do think once the deal was made, like Pachuca, or Chivas came to the agreement with Monterrey and yeah, we'll pay this much. He still had to sign the contract. I think once he saw all those zeros, he was like, fuck it, where do I sign? But if he wanted to remain, if his goal was to go to Europe, he could have just stayed at Chivas. Yeah, then fuck you guys. I'm not
He could
moving.
have stayed at
I'm
Chivas,
staying
but
here or
I feel
give me
like
this clause. But
to not even be consulted that you're being, sold. I think that obviously at that point you're like, well, fuck you guys. Like that's how you're gonna treat me.
yeah,
I just won you guys a title. We were just vibing, But
So is he getting punished for that right now on the bench, or is it one of those like he has to earn his play time?
I don't know the answer to Camberos, man. Every time he gets in, I get excited, but he gets less and less minutes, and it's a head scratcher for me. I think he should be starting every single game. And
but I mean,
there's
and they
evidence.
knew he was gonna leave.
There's
But if
evidence,
you're Milito,
dude. I mean, you look at what's working right now, and I'll tell you what's working. It's not fucking giving any more minutes to fucking Chicharito. It's giving minutes to Sandoval. It's giving minutes to Inda,
Yeah.
who like made his fucking professional debut at 17. It's like, bro, these kids are hungry. They're on a different fucking level right now. They don't have, dude. They're out there just wanting to ball out. Like they have another level of confidence and like just like to them, it's just like a big pussy waiting to get fucked, bro. Like they don't have like the scar tissue of being burned by the media and the fans and I think they're just all excited to just go out there and have fun and you're seeing that. And I think that's what's working for Chivas, and we need to like double down on that, bro, because Camberos and Yael Padilla are exciting prospects, and it's just a shame to see them.
they've been working at this. Chivas has been working at this. I threw the numbers a while back of Vucetich and how much playing time he gave and how many games it would be filled with canteranos, and his numbers were good. And I don't think this was him, I think this has been in the club's plans since going that far back, that they've just been working at that and working at it. And you're just not always going to have, the players that are that talented. So I think they finally Chivas hit some, they finally hit the goal. They finally hit some gold.
It's a numbers game, though. It's a numbers game because
Yeah.
week in, week out, the trend that I noticed is that Chivas is fielding the most canteranos, the most jovenazos,
Yeah.
and some of them are not as good as others, right? But I think the issue with Camberos and Padilla is a tactical mismatch. These guys are traditional out-and-out wingers, less so Camberos, but like he's a wide player, right? And we're not really playing with wingers. We're playing with inside forwards like Kate Cowell and Efrain Alvarez, people who work their way in, right, or are just more central, right? And then our wing backs are the guys that are out wide, right? And so like tactical mismatch is what I think is the biggest detriment to Camberos and Yael Padilla.
One thing that I want to call out from Efrain Alvarez, I think he had an incredible defensive game. There were so many times that he recovered the ball and he was doing a lot of the heavy lifting defensively. And I was surprised because he's wearing the number 10. And like, bro, if you're giving the number 10, me vale verga, bro. I'm fucking like Messi walking around the fucking pitch, like just waiting for me to like have that moment of genius and just, get the winner. And no, this guy was doing a lot of defensive duties, a lot of dirty work in tonight's game. And some casuals say, oh, he had a bad game. He wasn't really like, offensively potent. But I'm like, bro, Efrain did a lot on the defensive. And maybe that's one of the reasons why we haven't seen these guys being featured with the youngins, because maybe they're just like, no, fuck that. I'm like a winger and like I just want to, start shaking people and dribbling and doing all this flair stuff. And I don't want to do all the dirty work.
Yeah, yeah. Like I definitely feel like there's like a mentality with Milito's team where you all have to track back, and Efrain Alvarez has been doing that wonderfully.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, Jaime. I do think there's a lot of that. If you're not willing to do that dirty work, that heavy lifting, then you're not going to be in this team. It's a hardworking team.
Yeah.
And
And that's across the sport in general. I mean, we saw how hard of a time el gato, ¿cómo se llama el güey de Napoli? He was the coach for Napoli. He played for Milan, Gattuso. He gave Chucky a lot of shit for not doing that, for not doing all the dirty work. And it took a while for him to adapt. But then you also look at like the highest level with Mbappe.
Jaime, and for not coming into practice with his match face on.
Yeah.
Remember, he kicked him out. He was walking in. He looked annoyed or whatever.
Yeah.
Kick your shit and leave.
And you look at Enrique, right, giving Mbappe a lot of shit for being lazy, basically, for being lazy and not wanting to track back, and look at how many Ballon d'Oros that Mbappe has compared to some other players that are willing to listen, like Dembele. It's incredible. And you know what's also incredible is this Leon Mazatlan game. Holy shit. The 2-0 lead is no more for Leon. Mazatlan have tied the game. Anderson Duarte with a brace, 79th minute. Oh boy. Other thing to highlight tonight, I think Santi Jimenez is listening to our podcast and is making adjustments because he just scored a goal for Milan tonight. And that is a much, much needed goal for him over there in Italy. And looks like things are moving in the right direction for our boy Santi Jimenez.
Yeah, I saw a highlight of the goal. It was a good goal. I think it was in the cup action midweek. So let's see. Let's hope. Hopefully, he carries it over to the Serie A, and it looks like the team lo está respaldando. They've got his back. They're starting to believe in him, and I feel like a lot of the fans are still supporting him or want him to succeed, and that's always good to see. And yeah, hopefully this is the first of many.
Yeah. The only other update I have from Europe is La Coladera Ochoa conceding 5 goals on his debut. I wrote an article maybe a year ago about how Guillermo Ochoa is a masochist and he just loves to be humiliated and he loves pain and he loves suffering. And there he is wanting to continue to compete in Europe. And I don't know, guys. Is this going to be our third goalkeeper for the World Cup? Like, what are we doing over here?
I hope not, man. I really don't. He's out of it, dude. It's a Rangel and Pachuca's Moreno, man. Like this is getting ridiculous. What is he? He's in Cyprus. He's in one of those Mediterranean islands. Is it Cyprus?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, man. Like come back home, bro. Go to the MLS. I don't know what he's doing out there.
My theory is he just likes to travel and he really likes Europe. And from what I've seen, Cyprus is like a beautiful country. So he's just like, fuck yeah, I'm getting paid to hang out in Cyprus. And I'm sure he's had conversations with Javier Aguirre. And Javier Aguirre is like, listen, man, I will take you I took a fucking Conejo Perez to a World Cup. You don't think I'm going to do that with you? Just stay busy. Just stay active. I'll call you. I'll take you, bro. I'll do that one for you because I fucked you over in 2010 by naming El Conejo Perez as our starting goalkeeper. I fucked you over, so I owe you. Stay active. Enjoy your time. Try not to get hurt. I'll take you to the World Cup. We'll make history together. You'll be our third string goalkeeper. I think that's what the conversation and the vibe is with.
He's a show pony for sure now. Like that's all he is. And you know, he's been like a good media asset for a long time now. You know, I think that's one of the reasons why he was named our captain for so long.
Yeah.
But like you know, just to like throw on the info world you know, InfoWars tinfoil hat conspiracy, you know, Ochoa is contracted by Tequila Centenario.
Yes, he
right?
is.
And they are a big sponsor of TUDN, Televisa. And so that's why you see them show up on like the games, like mid game, there'll be a tequila advertisement for Centenario. It's a decent tequila. I'm sure Joel knows a bunch better ones, a whole lot of better ones. But you know, I like it. You know, it's decent. But I'm just saying, like, he seems to be an asset to these people in part, like that throw their weight around in Mexican media or Mexican marketing. And so I think that's his biggest I don't know, asset to being called up for the World Cup.
Yeah, at this point, he's still selling, he's still slinging, and I see his advertisements everywhere. So I'm not surprised, and I think he will end up being our third goalkeeper going into the World Cup, which is I'm okay with. Look, I'm okay with it. He'll bring a lot of experience. I'm sure he'll say some, good advice to what's going to be. I think Amalagon's going to be our starting goalkeeper. I think he's good to have on the bench, and obviously like the historic 6 World Cup, which no player has ever done. So that's why they're taking him.
Yeah, that would be one.
But I will say,
for Max,
some of these goals that he conceded, oh god, man, he looked really bad. I mean, there was 5 of them, but some of them were like, come on, bro.
Well, how long had he been without playing?
I'm not sure. I mean, his last game was earlier,
Cascaritas in New York,
probably like
or something,
in May. I don't know when the Italian. Yeah, but look, I don't judge Ochoa on his club career because almost everywhere he's always been like the highest conceded goalkeeper. Like, so I don't really like take that performance with the like, oh, I don't take those stats serious. He's always performed for the national team. So I think it's just him staying active.
Yeah.
He stopped that Louis pen in the last World Cup. He had a great game against Brazil in Brazil where he stopped everything they threw at us. You know, he's had some iconic moments for La Verde, for El Tri. But I do think he's past it. I remember this last year when he was playing for the Portuguese team. One of the matches where he wore a hat, like a baseball cap, and there's this picture of like, or this video snippet of him like staring at the sun. The sun's in his eye, and he like, I don't know, like he can't see the ball. He goes up to punch it, and he misses, and it's a goal. It was like the most pathetic showing I've ever seen in my life. And it's just like, damn, dude, like, what are you doing, bro? And like we're calling this guy up like shortly after we called him up. So, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's bad. It's bad. He's going to be our third goalkeeper. And dude, honestly, knowing Javier Aguirre and knowing what he's already done in the past, like, dude, this guy ends up being our starting goalkeeper. Fuck, dude. Fuck.
I think Aguirre's already shown that he's not. He played the finals with other keepers, so I don't think his important games for Aguirre, and I think if his plan was to have Ochoa, he would have had him already there, and been a big part of that success because those games were important for Aguirre, for the national team, and he chose the other keepers. So I don't think he will then just get to the World Cup and then just put him, just elevate him to the starter. I agree with you about him being the third, taking him as a third one, because he has experience and he's shown he's good for the locker room. And those type of players you want, that have good ambiente. And then like Ref mentioned, there's that sponsorship. I think Campos, when they called Campos, almost in a similar fashion. He was far from being the best keeper, but he had that big Pepsi. I think he had that Pepsi sponsorship, and they take him into the national team. But he wasn't. He hadn't been the best keeper for a while. But he did start though. I don't see Ochoa starting at best if the team's like qualified or maybe like in the third group game, and the team's already wrapped up into the next round.
I
I
could
could
see
see
that
him getting
happening.
subbed in.
I could see that
They'll sub
happening.
him in. They'll sub him in to get that sixth World Cup,
Yeah.
and that's all you need, man. And he'll be set, bro. He'll be set. He'll be like
He'll be that
he'll be
Panini
invited.
sticker, like the fucking holographic Panini sticker, like the only player to have played in 6 World Cups.
The graphic or those what is it? What's that brand? Upper Deck, I think, where they'll cut a piece of the glove or a piece of the shirt and put a little piece in the card.
Mm.
But no, like with FIFA, FIFA will keep some of their standout players,
Mm-hmm.
and like Pelé, for example, he was the face
Oh,
for
yeah.
MasterCard at the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much every World Cup I watched, there was Pelé, and that's gonna be Ochoa, man, for the next I don't know, 40 years, bro.
Yeah, he's gonna be the
Just
ambassador for
face
Mexico
at
at,
the World Cup with Centenario.
yeah.
He's Centenario
He's
Tequila.
set, bro. He's fucking set. He's gonna be at the, when they set up the little like puesto before the kickoff he's gonna be slinging fucking Lowe's and Home Depot and insurance and shit. You're gonna be able to line up and get an autograph and photo with Ochoa. Yeah, that's gonna be him.
Yeah, 6 World Cup, and then come get a photo.
Yeah.
He'll probably charge you $20.
The only other update I have before we get into closing thoughts, want to know your guys' opinion about this. This is official. Xolos has signed a deal with Reebok, so they will be moving from Charlie. But the one that's really exciting, it's not official yet, but there's a lot of rumors, and it's been going for quite some time, is Nike. They lost America to Adidas, and they're looking to sign Chivas, and I'm very excited about that partnership. Obviously, the last time that this happened, it was cut very short, and we didn't really have a long sponsorship with Nike, and those jerseys are very hard to acquire. But how do you guys feel about this potential switch to Nike?
I like it, bro. And then Nike went all out, and it sucks that whoever was at Chivas at the time, they sort of donkey punched them. But I remember they designed a Chiva, like a gold logo. It looks pretty cool, and you could find it. So I've seen some people use it sometimes, but they did this pretty cool looking gold logo. It just looked badass, and I think it came as a sticker. So if you got the jersey or something, I think you got it as a sticker, and I remember seeing it. And I couldn't get this dude to sell it to me, man. I was in Mex at the time. But they did like 2 commercials, I believe, where they're playing Pumas. I don't know if you guys ever got to see them.
Which is the first I saw that recently. I'm like, I've never seen this video before.
There's another one. I don't know if that's the same one, but they're playing Pumas, and then one of them Chivas scores, and then another commercial. I think it's Bravo Luna for Puma scores. But it looked pretty cool, just with that Nike stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And one of their cardinal sins was Sol was the sponsor at the time, and the Sol logo is the words and then the sun shining behind it. So they cut the sun thing. They just left the words, and just the letters, Sol, and it looked really cool in the back of the jersey. But Sol threw a bitch fit. They wanted their fucking rubber stamp there, and they had to redo it, and it just it just looks nasty. You know what I mean? It looks so fucking classy like that. These fuckers acting like no one would know it's Sol Cerveza, even though you're getting the fucking commercial blasted at you 10 times during the match. That was one of the things, and I think they used that as an excuse, and then they ended up going to Atletica. But I felt the whole getting rid of Nike was some under the table shit from whoever was
Yeah.
directivos back then. Yeah, they just completely fucked that up. But I would like. I never really liked the Reebok.
I have a hate love relationship with Reebok because they had some radical designs. Let's be real. I think that they had some designs that were a little wonky at the time.
The vertical stripes.
I think the one where it was like the rising sun, I was like, come on, man.
Yeah. Oh shit.
But they had some that were like pretty cool. One of my favorites was like the one that they used when they had who was their all-time goal scorer? Este before Bravo.
God damn. The guys. Damn. We're very horrible. Chi hermanos.
Dude, I'm drawing a fucking blank right now. I'm drawing like the biggest blank right now. Anyways, to honor him, because they registered him as a player for that season, and he actually played. And it was the Reebok Campeonissimo shirt, and to me that's one of my favorite jerseys of all time. And Reebok made it oversized logo and the fucking dope ass V-neck with the collar. It's one of the cleanest jerseys, and I tried buying it on eBay, and the guy fucking robbed me. He's like, "Oh yeah, just send me a PayPal, like, and I'll send it to you, and I'll sell it to you cheap." I never got that fucking jersey, bro. But I'm like, fuck,
eBay
dude.
though, eBay you could get your money back though. I've gotten it through eBay.
Yeah, it was back in the day when like sellers could just get away with like robbery. But
okay.
That was one of my favorite like Reebok Chivas jerseys of all time, and
Because I sold some shit on eBay, and they held the money until like the delivery thing was made.
Mm-hmm.
And then once the delivery was confirmed, I got my money after that.
Yeah. No, it was some shady shit, but I really like that jersey. But yeah, the relationship with Reebok was like, I still think Reebok honestly had better designs than Puma. I have a bad relationship with Puma. The quality is not great, and they have really shitty apparel. Like, it's just not the best. And they just released a new jersey that I think is very clean, minimalistic, but they're only selling it in Mexico. I haven't been able to find it anywhere else but in the Chivas store, and they won't ship to the US. So
which one? Pumas?
Puma, yeah. Chivas just released a new jersey. It's very minimalistic. It looks nice, but you can't buy it. Well, you can't ship it to the States. You have to buy it in Mexico.
Wait, Puma did a Chivas jersey?
Yeah, it's super clean. Yeah, it's very nice. I like it, but
wait,
they're not.
why though?
Huh?
Don't they have a contract with Reebok? I'm so out of it. Or did they go to Puma after Reebok? What am I missing here?
I'm talking about right now. And Puma just released a jersey for Chivas.
I know, but is Chivas with Puma?
Yeah, dude. What the fuck? Yeah, they're with Puma.
They haven't bought a Chivas jersey since. God damn, I can't remember.
Damn, bro.
90.
Bro, we've had Puma.
Yeah, bro.
We've had Puma for like since we won.
Okay, it's coming back to me now. It's coming back.
Yeah,
it's coming back.
Our last championship was with Puma, bro. We were rocking the Puma jersey.
All right. But I mean, do you know who they've? So they had Pumas, and then they had Reeboks for so many years, and then they had Atletica.
Yeah.
And then Nike briefly, but I can't remember.
They had like Umbro before my time, and I can't remember
I
other.
think Levi's.
I don't know if they had Levi. I don't know. I just remember like in the '90s, it was Atletica, and then they were acquired by Vergara, and then that jersey that they came out with, where he stripped it of all the sponsors, was actually made by like a private like white
No, I
label.
think it was Reebok. I think it was Reebok. They just didn't
Because
put their.
if you look at the tag, it
They,
doesn't. It says like Vergara. It doesn't say.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I think.
I've heard. So I don't know how truth, but I heard that Reebok did make it. They just
Mm,
agreed not to put their logo.
yeah, they white labeled
Um,
it. Yeah.
but one of my favorite jerseys, it's like an old one. I think it's from the '80s. It's in Adidas. It has Nissan. Nissan is the sponsor, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
a
that one's
V-neck.
clean.
Yeah, I would. That's one I would like to get, even a replica, as long as it's accurate.
Yeah, that one's. I love that jersey. If you look at like the history of Chivas's jerseys, it was just red and white stripes, and then I don't know what happened in the '90s and the 2000s where we started to have more and more blue on the jersey, but Chivas never really wore blue on the jersey. It was always on the shorts and the socks. So at one point, it was an abomination, and I think Adidas was the biggest offender of incorporating more and more blue to the kit. But yeah, we briefly had Adidas before we got acquired by Puma, and they were already fielding the Chivas USA team, so I feel like they copied a lot of the designs from that. But anyways, we're getting close to the 2 hour mark, so I want to give everyone who's still left their opportunity for closing thoughts. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. The river's quiet. I really like what Milito's doing to this team. I think I think that we're seeing the potential with all these young players. It reminds me of the team Ruggeri had when he coached the club. He wasn't exactly winning. I think they had like 14. They went on like on a 14 match undefeated streak, bunch of draws. But you know, they had like I think you had the youngsters coming out at that time, like Bravo and Medina, and you could see already that you know the potential of that team, of how good they can get. And I think we're seeing that with a lot of these youngsters. I do think you will have to have some good, backup players if they could bring in some guys to back this team up, because I think next season they could do really really well. And I'm not so. Uh, this season is basically half a season if we think about it, just because they're short tournaments. So I think Chivas would do well to hold on to Milito, even if they don't get into Liguilla, just because to me they've been playing well. The Toluca game's been the only bad match. But if we saw the games, like they played Tigres, they played Cruz Azul, they played America, they played these bigger teams. And then by bigger teams, I mean obviously squad wise. Um, and they held their own. I mean, so it's impressive. It's impressive to do that with a young squad. So I do think you just need to, bring in the right experienced players, and I think this Chihuahua team can be contenders. So I hope they could do that. I still feel they need 2 or 3 players to come in and complement Milito, and we could see something good. But I've heard all these things about putting him in the chopping block, or he needs to win this, or he needs to do. And I think that if that's what you're basing, that's what you're going to base the season on a handful of games, and I think you're going about it the wrong way. I think it's overall, and you're hitting all these goals overall, and I think one of them is obviously to play the youth and to have all these young players get experience, and I think that one has been met with flying colors. And then the playing style, I'm sure a lot of the fans really like it, because I know when Buse was there. They hated his very defensive. They hated his style, but I think people really like the way Milito has the team playing. So I hope they continue with him regardless how the season finishes. Um, and I think, and if they bring those two, three players, I think we'll have. I think the Chivas will be able to compete for silverware.
For sure, Joel. Thank you for joining us tonight. Rifado.
Howdy. Thanks for having me, everyone. My closing thoughts, as always, Jovenazo rundown. So this week, or this last week, not including the match today, it included 39 Jovenazos out of 198 starters and 378 total players available, accounting for 10%. It's a big drop off from the 15 to 20% we're used to seeing. And this is due to the U20 World Cup. There's about, 20, 25 players of this age group that would be seeing playing time or be called up at least to the bench that is instead at the U20 World Cup. So that's what explains that drop off. But we've had some good jovenazos over the week. One guy that I wanted to talk about, we already spoke about his goal, Fidel Ambris. I feel like he gets looked over a lot at a star-studded Monterrey, but I think he had the first goal of that night, and kudos to him. Let's see, who else? Arciga, the right winger. I think he's 19 years old, 20 years old for Cholos. He got an assist in their 5-0 defeat of León over the weekend. I thought he was impressive. I think he's impressive. He didn't get to go to the U20 World Cup, and that's all right. But he's really good. And this Cholos team showed in this 5-0 victory that they can be without Gil Mora. They don't need him to be successful. And so I thought that was an interesting showing. But yeah, those are my two standout guys. As far as Chivas is concerned today, they really impressed me. Like I've been saying for a while, no one does more jóvenes, no one creates more players than Chivas is doing this last year. And, if we look at the scoreboard today, Armando Gonzalez, Santiago Sandoval, Christian, Samir, Inda, all these guys are kids from the Canterano, from the Cantera, and like, just goes to show you that the chickens are coming home to roost in a good way. This long-term investment is starting to pay off. And like Joel, I think we're like a player or two from being a really competitive squad. I think another creative midfielder, another center back would really do us some good. Maybe a real striker, who's like a real veteran striker, mercenary striker, to help alleviate some of the build-up play that goes to waste with people like Chicharito. Anyways, great week for the Chivas. It was unfortunate that they lost against Toluca. We already went over that, but they bounced back tonight, and I'm really happy. And thanks for having me, everyone. Appreciate it. Have a great.
Awesome, Rifado. Really looking forward to the Under-20 World Cup for Mexico. I'm going to have family over. We're going to barbecue. Game kicks off at 4 p.m. against Brazil. ¿Qué más quieres? ¿Qué más quieres? I am loving the double dose of Liga MX.
If you're speaking, you're muted.
Oh, thank you for that. Let me repeat myself. I am loving the double dose of Liga MX, having some games sprinkled in during the week. But really, the big story this weekend will be Mexico's debut in the Under-20 World Cup against Brazil. Looking forward to that match and seeing how we do with some of, we call it the group of death. Let's call it what it is. As far as potential matchups, look no further than tomorrow. A 6-point match between Toluca and Monterrey at 7 p.m. We're talking 2 versus 3. That is a must-watch game tomorrow. And over the weekend, we have the, the Clásico Capitalino, América and Pumas on Saturday. That should be a good one to watch. Chivas have a layup against Puebla, but from what we saw tonight, Puebla might not be the easiest opponent. We're on the road against Puebla on Friday. So curious to see if we can continue this momentum. I will say we are at a point in the season where we cannot afford to give up any points. This match against Puebla is a must win for Chivas, and we'll see how they do on Friday. Aside from that, folks, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for the panelists showing up tonight, and we'll catch you on the next one.